mines in North America are located in the Midwest. The Homestakes Mine and the Sudan Mine are both stretched into the ground, miles into the ground, and were once powerhouses for their communities. Today, the Homestakes Mine in Leeds, South Dakota, and the Sudan Mine in Tower, Minnesota, offer rich history and unique experiences to visitors. I'll begin by talking about the history of each mine, and then talk about how each mine has been repurposed today. Finally, about the modern attractions that both mines have to offer. To understand how these mines became landmarks of history and discovery, let's start with the Homestake Mine that's located in Leeds, South Dakota, which is about right there. The Homestakes Mine started its operations in 1876 when the Manuel brothers found the land and made claims. However, just a year later, in 1877, George Hurst, who is that guy right there, bought the land off them and continued operations for the next 125 years. The mine quickly became one of the largest employers in the region, and it offered a lot of job opportunities for people all over the country. It became a significant investor in infrastructure and community amenities. The Homestake Mine created things like an opera house, libraries, and elementary schools for the Leeds community. It closed in 2001, and at its deepest point, it was 8,000 feet below the surface. It produced over 40 million ounces of gold, which is equivalent to $72 billion, and according to Gary Hoover. And today, the mine has been transformed into the Sanford Underground Research Facility that focuses on research on physics, biology, geology, and engineering. The depth of the mine makes it a good place to do research on these types of things because certain particles can't be exposed to the sun and atmosphere, so the depth makes it a good spot for these. So you can't go underground in the Homestakes Mine due to the research facility. However, there still are other attractions around Leeds. The Visitor Center offers exhibits and pop-up activities, as well as a viewing platform to view the open pit mine. Along with that, some of the original buildings like the Opera House and library are still open today to be toured. Around the same time, a similar story is being told in Tower, Minnesota at the Sudan Mine. The Sudan Mine is part of the largest iron range in the country and is located on the western end of the Vermilion Range. It's the deepest mine in the state at 2,300 feet below surface, and according to Sherry Zeppelin, the Minnesota Iron Company started production in 1884 with just open pits to begin with. However, they had to move operations underground due to the open pits becoming too dangerous for working conditions. The mine also similarly brought a lot of jobs and growth to the region. However, there was some tensions because families that lived on the land were being harassed to give up their land. The mine did end up closing in 1962, and throughout its course, it produced 15 million tons of iron ore, according to Molly Huber. The mine today is now a state park due to the U.S. Steel Corporation donating the land to the state for the creation of the park. Also, parts of the underground mine have been turned into a physics research lab that is now used by the University of Minnesota. Unlike the Homestakes Mine, they do underground tours at the Sudan Mine. They're 90-minute tours, and they take you to the last parts that were mined, and they also give you tours of the research facility. If you're not into going underground, there's still a lot of stuff you can do above ground, as a lot of the original buildings and equipment are still up today for you to explore. Lastly, they have nature trails that loop around and overlook some of the original open pits. Overall, the history of the mine are reminders of our country's history, and how we can repurpose old historical sites into learning and educational experiences. Both mines offer rich history and help shape their communities. Today, each mine has a new purpose and has new purposes such as crucial research or historical sites that can educate and captivate audience. Both mines share unique experiences, learning opportunities, and are also testaments to the past and how we can repurpose history.